Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. This is the last episode, the completed DB5 from James Bond. Doesn't look completed at the moment. It looks like it's on its roof. It's just been in a crash, and that's because we're going to be starting this build. We've got stages 84 and 85 to do. We're going to start this build by sorting out all the wires. They're all over the place at the moment, and I need to tidy them up, and that's the first thing that we're going to be doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to complete the vehicle today, then I'm going to get it into the house and do a little showcase and show you everything, hopefully working. We'll see how that goes. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so here's the wires here. Now, if you see, all the wires passed underneath this cross section here, but it is going to be going above this cross section here. Now, once again, I'm using the My James Bond DB5 from Todd McWilliams, MarvelPHX website, and I'm following his advice in this. And what he's done is he's put some tape just over this section here so that the shearing force of the metal here isn't going to break the wires, because the metal is going to go above this section here. And if you saw last time when we did this, I did plug the headlights in, but I didn't pass them under the cross member here like the rest of them. And the reason I didn't do that was because I only just wanted to test if they were working. So I'm going to do that now and pass them through like this. Excellent. So now all of these wires that we've got on this build are going through this section here. Okay, so when we've got to that stage, what we want to do is I'm just going to push the wires here and make them as flat as I can just before it goes through this cross member. Then I've got this plastic tab that comes in this stage, and that's going to be pushed over the two pins here. So I want to ensure that all of the wires are inside those pins, just like that. Then I'll push this tab over the top. And that will lock them all into place. I've got another one, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing further down here. Excellent. And that's that tab in as well. So nice and flat there. And eventually these are just going to be bundled into this section here. Now we'll protect the ones going over the top where we just put the tape underneath. As you can see today, I have got insulating tape. Just like that. That's going to protect all of those wires now. We've got no pinches in there at all. So the only thing that isn't connected at the moment is this one here. You see on the side camera, and that's just the power. We're going to be doing that soon. And I'm going to just put the car just on the floor for a second, because I'm going to be bringing up this massive chassis section that goes underneath the vehicle. Now, we have got this stabilizer to put in, so I'll get this open. If we look on this section here, just around where the wheels go, and we have got a peg just here and one up here. We're going to be putting this stabilizer on. It's going to be going on this way with this facing out. So one side just on this peg here and one side on the peg just below it. So when that's on, that should look just like that. We then want the battery cover for the previous pack. Now, the screw to screw this down actually comes pre-attached to the battery cover, as you can see there. We're going to be putting that in place. So bringing this over here, that's just going to go on like that. And then I can screw this in here. And there we go, that's that in place. Now I need the battery box, which is housing all the electrics here. Turn this over. That's going to go over these two pegs that we can see there, this way round, so the red wire's facing towards the nearest edge there, so that's going to go in like that. We need two L screws just to go in there, so I've got them here. Let's put these in, one this side and one the other side, and that is that stage completed. So moving on to the last stage. I think it's probably best just to keep my mat down to do the last stage. Lots of little tiny fiddly things in this. As you can see, we've got some windscreen wipers here, 2 of those, and we've got some springs. So we want the chassis assembly, which we worked on a long time ago. It looks just like this. So this is going to be one of those stages where we do loads of things at the same time. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to keep these separate from each other for a second. I'm going to put the springs just on top of the strut mounts there, so they look like that. We're going to offer this to the chassis. So what we're going to do is put this underneath here, so it looks like that, and this is just going over the top. But at the same time, we're going to be wanting to put these springs over the shocks. So I'm just going to leave that where it is at the moment, turn this upside down so you can see where this is actually going. And we've got some holes just here and here, which I need to line up with the top of those springs. That has just happened to fall into place perfectly, just like that. So when we're offering this up, just make sure that these supports are facing forwards, just like this. And then we can push that home to where it's going to go, just like that. I want to make sure that these suspension strings are on the struts. So one in that side. And, oh, this is a tight one. One in that side. Get that all the way up. Excellent. Turn it over. And we're going to secure the front end of this whole axle just into the point just here. That's just going to go over the top like that, and it's held in with a type L screw, which I do happen to have here. So I'll put that through the top, line it up, there we go, and screw that down. Make that nice and tight, so that's in place. And then all I'm going to do on this side is I'm just going to line up the suspension so that that comes through the top, as you can see on the top camera, just like that. As a matter of fact, if I get my close-up camera as well, you can see that poking through there. That's going to be held in with a Y screw, which is like a flange screw here. So I've got that lined up, and I'll get this side in first. Make that nice and tight. Excellent. And then just do the same on the other side. And there we go. That's the back section on. And then these posts here, we're just going to be putting these into place. So the bottom one's going to go into the bottom hole that you can just see in the side there, and the top one's going to go into the top hole. So I'll put these in. They just clip into the sides. 1 and 2. We're going to secure them in from the other side with size W screws. And when they're screwed in, that is now fully attached to the chassis. Now turning this over, we've got some exhaust systems to put in. They look like this. Now, these pegs go in different places. So you've got the ones that are further away, fitting on the inside, like that. And the ones that are tight together like that are fitting just on the outside here. Now, these are going to be held in from the other side here with type Q screws. I've got plenty of them. So I'll screw all 4 of these in to keep these into place. That's the third one there. And finally, the 4th one here. Turn it over, and we're going to be putting the other side of the exhaust in. Now, one is longer than the other, as you can see. So the one that is the longest is going to be going into the inside, towards the inside of the car. So it'll be going into this one here. So we'll have one in there like that. And then this is going to go down the holes just at the front there. So when they're in, they look just like that. And once again, turning it over, we're going to secure them in place with size Q screws just into these holes. As you can see on the close-up, just there. Excellent. So that looks just like that there. Now, this is where we're going to piece the whole thing together. So, I've brought up the car again, turned it upside down. And then all we're going to do is we're going to attach the chassis to this section here. But I do need to plug in the power button to this section here. So what I think I'll do, I'll put this gently over the top for a second, just so I can connect these 2 wires up. There you go, that's all together. We'll just put a little bit of masking tape around there so it doesn't come out when I put this together. I want to make sure there's no wire pinches here, and then we can offer this section to where it's going to go onto the vehicle here, just like that. Feed the front exhaust pipes into the corresponding holes that we can see in the engine. So now I can push this whole section down here. So I'm putting these in with G screws. That's one at the front here, and number 4 just down on this side. And then at the back section here, I've got to put some type C screws. One in here. And one in the other side. And then 2 more C screws just at the very back. So, that is the base all installed. Now we've got this little part of the water tank that we still need to put in. That's just going to go underneath the fan section here. You should just be able to see it on the camera. We need to secure that down with 2 screws. And they're type R screws. And 2. Excellent. I've got to turn the vehicle over now, so I'll be very careful doing this. Wow, that's the first time I've seen it complete upright. It looks really good. Check that out. I can actually take all this masking tape off now, because I won't be turning it upside down again. I'm just going to be pushing the windscreen wipers on. We've got a shorter one and a longer one. Shorter one's going to go on this side here. And then finally, the last thing to put on, I think this came in pack 1, is just the ejector seat mechanism, and that goes on there. I think it does go round a certain way, the roof. There we go. That is the roof on as well. That's the car completed. Now, I haven't checked the electrics again now, which I'm going to do now, but I think we'll do all of that in a little show reel to show you what this absolutely awesome car looks like. I'm really happy with this. And there you go. What did you think of that build? What a weird build. I mean, there were so many stages where we didn't do anything. And then in the last 5 stages, oh my God, it was like, you know, now take your whole box of stuff and we're going to put it all together. I did like the way it went together. I think it was easier than most of the vehicles we put together that went together in 2 pieces. A little bit fiddly, but as long as you get the poles lined up, there shouldn't be a problem at all. The electrics wasn't too problematic with that as well. I'm trying to think what the biggest problems I had was. The ejector seat. I think the ejector seat is something that I demonstrated, as you saw in the video there. It is hard to get back in, but you know, I managed it. But it's the mechanism there just wasn't right. It didn't do what I needed to do. But I was just thankful that when I turned it on, all the electrics work. You got to see it all in its glory. It does go to show, I mean, this came out originally, God, it must be about 11 years ago, how far these 1.8 car builds have come, because there wasn't as much detail in the engine. I mean, the gearbox was all plastic and stuff, and now the sort of standard we're getting now, where we're actually putting individual HT leads, spark plug leads in, oil filters, distributors, alternators, pulley belts. Wow, I managed to reel that off in one go. You see what I mean? It's come a long way from where we are from that car. But as a static model looking like that, even though you've got all the singing and dancing bits on it, it's going to look great on Christian Buxton's shelf. So Christian, this model is now available for you to pick up. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I really enjoyed this series. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.